This program is available on DVD from the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society. Pick one up when you visit the Saugus Train Station Museum in Old Town Newhall, weekends 1 to 4. The topography of the Santa Clarita Valley has changed dramatically since World War II, with tracts of homes covering formerly barren hillsides and old working ranches turning into prime real estate. I'm Leon Warden, and this is Legacy, Santa Clarita's Living History, brought to you by the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society, the SCV School and Business Alliance, and Valencia Bank and Trust. Silent cowboy star William S. Hart hadn't even built his mansion in Newhall yet when one of our guests tonight was born to a ranching family in Sand Canyon. This couple has seen a whole lot of changes in the last 70-some years. I'd like to welcome Clem and Paula Cox to the show. Thank you for joining us. Now, Paula, you two were neighbors growing up in Sand Canyon. You literally married the boy next door, didn't you?
Exactly. Right over the stile.
Right over the fence post, huh?
Right.
Now, how long ago was it that your parents came out to Sand Canyon?
My parents came out in 1939. Mm-hmm. And my father, we lived in San Fernando Valley.
Right.
We had horses, and the war in Europe was going, and people were building tracks in the San Fernando Valley and didn't like horses as neighbors. And so he found this property to move his horses to, and then came home to tell us about this wonderful family of 3 boys next door. Well, I, at 13, thought, that's pretty good. And then I met them, and they're farmers, and I was so-called city, not that city. But something happened, and by 15, Clem was my whole world.
By 15, the magic was there.
Right.
You know, your family, you brought a photo here. Tell me who's in this photo. That's your father there.
My father is the taller of the 2 children, and my grandmother, Laura White.
What was your father's name?
Paul Palmer.
Okay.
And my grandmother, Laura White Palmer, was a neighbor of the Ingalls family in South Dakota, which was really Dakota territories in those times.
Ingalls as in Little House on the Prairie.
On the prairie, right.
Okay.
And so that was a picture of the family.
How neat.
They were from Minnesota, and they came to Hollywood in 1912.
Really?
And one of the first things that my father did was he got to ride in a car. He'd never ridden in a car, and he thought that was wonderful.
Now, what about you, Clem? When did your parents get here to the Santa Clarita Valley?
Well, they came in 1923. My father was born in Los Angeles.
Right.
And my mother.
Now, what did your dad do? What was his name? He was Clement also,
yes,
right?
He was Clement. And his name was Clement Dunbar Cox. And I guess there was a little argument. My mother wanted to name me Kenneth, and he did not. And I did not find out that my name was not Clement Dunbar Cox until I was in college and the war was starting, and I joined the Marine Corps and had to send for my birth certificate and found out that I was Clement Kenneth Cox.
That's a heck of a way to find out.
After 18 years.
Now they settled here in, what was it, 1923?
1923.
You came along right after that.
1924.
Okay. Were you the eldest, or?
No, I'm the middle.
You're the middle.
I had an older brother, 15 months older.
Right. Now, your father, he died when you were fairly young, right?
5 years old.
Okay. How did that happen? Do you know how it was?
Pneumonia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And died in the San Fernando Hospital, which is still there, I believe.
Must have been quite a hardship for your mother.
With three boys, 4, 5, and 6. Yeah.
How did she manage to cope?
Well, it was later years that I realized what she had to go through with 3 boys that young, and living in a house without running water, no electricity. We didn't get electricity till 1930. Things got a little better then, and but it was very tough on her.
Yeah, I imagine so. Now it was a working ranch at that time during the 20s?
Yes, he had started, well, he came from Glendale, where he had a farm there, mostly fruit trees, things like that, and then came out here and had animals and raised hay. Now, we mentioned your mother, but you probably mention that she's Leona Cox, which is kind of a famous name around here. There's an elementary school in the Sulphur Springs district named for your mother. And actually, the folks who are out at Leona Cox Elementary School today were kind enough to lend us a video that they had put together for the 30th anniversary of the school in 1995. And on there's they give a little bit of history about Leona Cox. And we're going to take a look at that now, and you're going to hear the voice of Mark Meyer.
Leona Haberstich was born on August 20th, 1885 in Strasbourg, France. Her family immigrated to the United States and Florida when she was 5 years old. They lived there only 1 year when they moved to Kirksville, Missouri, where they set up a farm. When she was 28, Leona, along with her sister, moved to Los Angeles, where she worked as a telephone operator and a nurse. It was in LA that she met Clem Cox, who was a cooper making tanks. He was also a farmer. They married in 1917, and in 1923 moved to Saugus and built this home in an area which is now the eastern side of Canyon Country. It is still with the family today. During that period, Clement and Leona had 3 children, all boys: Donald, Clement Jr., and James. Tragically, Clement Sr. died of pneumonia in 1930, and Leona was left to raise the boys by herself. They lived off the food they could produce on their farm, which they sold to their neighbors. Leona also nursed people to help raise money. As the boys started school, Leona on her own volunteered to bring water and firewood to the single-room Sulphur Springs schoolhouse for the sake of the children. Between her and Florence Mitchell, who was the teacher, they took care of all those children spread out between 8 grades. Talk about a split class. During that time, she served on the school board and was also the county librarian. After all those years of dedicated volunteer work, the Sulphur Springs School District finally hired her as the district secretary in 1940. She held that position for 15 years until she reluctantly accepted the school district's request to have her retire in 1955, at the age of 70. She attended the groundbreaking ceremony of the Leona H. Cox School in 1963 and the dedication ceremony in 1965. Leona died July 19, 1969, just 1 month short of her 84th birthday.
You know, thinking about Leona Cox School, that was the 3rd school in the Sulphur Springs District. And then, of course, there are 7 elementary schools in the Sulphur Springs District today. But that's kind of deceiving. You know, this, Leona Cox School came along in it was opened in 1965, but it was just the year before that Mint Canyon School opened. So all those years, all the way back going to, 1869, really, with the first Mitchell School, there was really only 1 school in the Sulphur Springs District. So would you both have attended Sulphur Springs School?
No, I did not. I never attended school here in this valley.
Okay.
Clem attended from
So, of course, since you were born here, Clem, you would have gone to Sulphur Springs
right
through what, I guess the 8th grade?
Yes.
What do you remember about Sulphur Springs School? Well, it was a while back, but you remember who your teacher would have been?
Oh,
Was
yes.
there a Mitchell still teaching there?
Florence Mitchell.
Really?
Was my teacher the entire time I was there. And we had programs like Christmas and had dances every now and then. So we had a lady that played the piano, a man played the violin, and I forgot what the other instrument was. Accordion.
There you go. Thank you.
Played the accordion.
And was there just one teacher for all grades?
Yes, one teacher for all the grades.
Just Florence Mitchell.
And one thing that I remember about her desk was in the back of the room, and if she ruled with an iron hand, and if anyone got out of line, they were hit in the back with a tennis ball.
Okay.
And she was a good shot.
But that never happened to you.
No.
Okay. Just checking. You were a good boy.
Yeah. And then the one-room school had
Paula's snickering here.
had a little what they called an anteroom where they kept supplies and things. And she also kept a paint paddle in there. And if the tennis ball didn't do any good, why, you went in the anteroom with her and you bent over and she gave you a shove out the door.
Another thing you had never had an opportunity to feel.
And you behaved.
And it was, you went through from, when did you start? First grade, or did they have a kindergarten? They didn't have a kindergarten then? Or
No, there was
just
no
first grade
just
through eighth grade.
First to the eighth.
How many kids altogether in the school?
Probably at that time, when I was in the first grade, I don't think we had more than 15, 20. And some
the
of
entire school?
Yeah. Some of them were transients. They worked, their parents worked for the railroad up at Lang, keeping the tracks going.
Sure.
And the other big employer was the hog ranch, which is right now being turned into a housing track.
Now, was the Sulphur Springs School located? That would have been a two-story wooden structure at the time, right? Did it have two floors?
No,
It was just
one room.
One floor. Okay,
And,
one room.
Yeah, it was a peak roof like that. And it was just one room.
I think I read somewhere that it wasn't until about 1940 that they added a second room or something like that.
They didn't add a second room. They added a little second building right next to it, which was made out of corrugated iron.
Corrugated iron.
Yeah.
Interesting, kind of like a school in a tin shed.
But I was out of there then and going to San Fernando High School.
Now, how'd you get to San Fernando High School?
Well, a bus came up, or actually two buses were kept in this area. One on Sierra Highway and the other one in Castaic. And the Sierra Highway bus came up Soledad Canyon to the Sulphur Springs School.
Right.
And picked up, I don't know, half a dozen kids.
What route would it have gone?
Well, it went down then Soledad Canyon Road to Bouquet. Then we went up Bouquet Canyon, probably 4 or 5 miles, and up there was a home for boys, and we picked all of those up, which was probably 6 or 8 of them, and came back down and went through Saugus, Newhall, picking up, and then I guess we went San Fernando Road, and still picking up all the way to high school, and by the time we got to San Fernando, we had a load.
Now, you were, I think you said 13 when you moved
Yes.
here. Did you also attend San Fernando High School?
No, I went to Hollywood High School. My father had gone to Hollywood High School, and so we took an apartment in Hollywood so I could go to Hollywood High, and it was quite a shock because it was a very big school.
So what was your transportation like?
My foot.
Your foot.
I walked. And it was lovely because you met people. We lived on Hollywood Boulevard, and there was one policeman, if you can believe this, did all the patrolling, and his name was Jake. He loved the Hollywood High students, and everybody respected him. And the doorman at the Roosevelt Hotel, which was across the street from where I lived. And these were my morning people that I would see. And I still think of it with great joy when you're here and see Hollywood with all this weirdness to think how wonderful it was in those days.
Yeah, it's changed a bit like everything else,
Yes.
I imagine. Who were some of the neighbors and classmates that you remember from the canyon?
Well, there was a family of 6, 3 boys, 3 girls, the Warmoths. And I believe that Mary Warmoth is the only one that still owns a little piece of land there, unless she sold it in the last couple of years. All the rest divided it up, drew straws as to which piece they got, and they sold off. And houses all over there now. And the other family was the Bellows, and Mike was my age, and we grew up together, rode bicycles together, rode horses together.
And they had a farm, didn't they?
Yes, they had grapes, fruit, and I guess the other family were the Geeges, and they also had mainly alfalfa. They had some fruit.
And that's where McMillan Ranch is today.
That's
right?
the McMillan Ranch today, yes.
Now, do you remember the old Solomon Junction and the Solomon store and all those?
Absolutely. It was the meeting place. Everyone would gather in the afternoon. They had, before Highway 6 changed its route, it used to go through Newhall and Saugus and come around Soledad Canyon and then up Mint Canyon, which is Sierra Highway now.
Right.
And it was on the southwest corner, and then when Highway 6 moved and came straight through down by Clarita and then up again, it moved over there, and they had picnic tables out front, and all the old gentlemen or whomever would go there in the afternoon and have a libation of some sort and sit and talk. And the gentleman who later owned it by the name of Al Clark was a wonderful character. He cut out signs and had these unique signs, and the store carried everything. You could buy anything you want. And matter of fact, the hog ranches used to collect the garbage from different cities. They had contracts. And that's before the garbage disposal. And the fellas on the ranches would go through and pick the fine china out, the sterling silver, and you could go to Solomon's store and fill out your silver pattern for $1 a piece.
Really?
Try to do that today at Gumps or Tiffany's. But it was a wonderful.
Of course, that was a big crossroads, you know,
Yes.
a lot of traffic coming through there. What was the traffic like back then?
Very funny story.
Traffic jams?
Traffic jams. One night we were headed into town to have dinner, and my father was driving, and we came up to the corner of what is today Soledad Canyon and Sierra Highway, and there were probably 5 or 6 cars.
Really?
He got so upset. He says,
Oh, my.
"We're going back home. We're not going in this traffic tonight." So back home we went.
5 or 6 cars.
What would he do today?
Now, one interesting thing about the school, there was a family up the top of Iron Canyon, and it had, I guess, 3 or 4 children, and they had a little cart and a donkey, and the kids came to school in the cart
Pulled along by the donkey.
with a little flake of hay, and they tied it up to a tree.
Did you ever hitch along for a ride with them? Or?
No, never did.
Did you do walk to school or ride a horse?
Well, when we were young, my mother took us, drove us down, and a lot of times, afterwards, when she had to go to work, then we walked home.
Now, what work was she doing at that time? It would have been, we're talking about 1930, around there, right?
Yeah, and she was working on a dude ranch, which is up, I think they call it the Santa Maria Ranch now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they've made a lot of
So did
moves.
she spend a lot of time away from you then, or was that in Santa Maria? Or?
No.
Oh, okay.
Sable
Right there in
Ranch?
Sand Canyon.
Oh, Sable Ranch.
And
Okay,
Cinnamon
yeah.
Ranch
That
side by side.
yeah, okay.
Yes.
Now I know what you're talking about.
Right, she worked up there, and then got involved in the school, and
Right.
worked at the school.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. I know that we touched on that in that video from the school a little bit, but I guess, well, she was quite a volunteer while you guys were in school. Tell me a little bit about this, hauling water in the drought.
Well, of course, the school didn't have any running water there, and so someone had to bring the water, and we had 5-gallon cans and what they called a no-yo, and dumped the water in there, and the kids all had their own cups that they got water out. And they finally fixed the well, and it had one of the old pump handles on it.
Right.
And the bigger boys would pump the water for the younger kids to get water out. And they had an outhouse out in back and a wood shed in the back because we had a wood stove, and when it's cold in the winter, and that was the job of the bigger boys to keep the fire going. Yeah. Because it got a little cold now and then.
Used to snow a lot more too, didn't it?
Yes, I think so. I used to say that we had an average of one snow every 10 years. Not much, couple, 2 or 3 inches. It would stay on the ground for a day before it would melt off.
Well, we really had a little more of a desert climate back then. Tell me a little bit about your chicken ranch.
Well, I started out in high school. I had taking agriculture, and we had to have a project, and my instructor thought a good idea for me to start raising chickens and selling eggs. And so I did. I got, I guess, 100 chickens, and when they started producing eggs, I sold the eggs to Solomint store and a couple of other places. And of course, the Solomint store is long gone now, but that was there for years and years.
Now, you also used to make deliveries, I understand, of the eggs.
Then after I graduated from high school, went in the Marine Corps for 3 years, and came back and went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and I got a teaching credential in agriculture, and fortunately started teaching at Van Nuys, and started and built a house on the old place where my mother gave me an acre of land, and with my first paycheck, I got a bunch of chickens again. And started raising chickens, and finally got to the point where I had to hire help. And
expanding operation.
Yeah.
Is it true that you delivered eggs to Bill Hart?
No.
That's a make-believe story, huh?
But I delivered eggs to restaurants all over the area.
Yeah. Well, you of course went out with, or actually you had our local historian, Jo Ellen Rizmanchi, come out to your place recently, and you showed her around, and we've got some video to take a look at again.
We're here at Robinson Ranch near the 7th Tee with Clem Cox. Clem, what can you tell us about this place before it was a golf course?
Well, it was a farm where I raised chickens for eggs and planted the fields in oats. And right behind where we're standing is where the old house was. It was built in 1923 that I was raised in. And my chicken operation was off over here, and my present house is right behind us over here, which I built in 1950, and am still living there, and will probably die there because I'm not planning on selling.
Clem, did you actually use this tractor?
Oh yes, we used it for many years, plowing the fields, planting oats, and sawing wood for the house. We didn't get electricity until 1930. We didn't actually acquire this tractor until about 38, but we also had to, we no longer had to use a hand saw to saw wood to heat the house. We had a belt that fits on this pulley right here, and It was modern mechanism then, and of course today the chainsaw has replaced all of this, and it's much better.
Thanks for the visit. For Legacy, I'm Jo Allen Rismanchi.
Well, Paul, you used to have chicken ranch frontage. Now you've got golf course frontage. How do you like it?
Well, it takes some getting used to.
Oh?
I have to say, I complained about chickens for many a year, but after they were gone, I missed them. I don't understand it, but that was the way it was. And Clem was thrilled because he didn't have to do all the things he had to do in the past. So now we watch little carts with little people in little hats and shorts and golf clubs go by. And after, I guess it's been 2 years almost it's been open, I'm finally getting used to it.
Getting used to it.
That sounds stupid, but that's the way I am. I miss the old
sure,
things.
the nostalgia.
And I don't even play golf.
No.
How much land did you sell to the golf course folks?
Well, we had 107 acres, and we sold 103 and kept 4.
And on those 4 today, you've got some family members living right there with you in their own houses on that 4 acres.
Yes, and I had another little piece of land before. I bought that to prevent anyone from building and causing me trouble with my chickens, smell, and so forth.
Sure.
And when my daughter got married and wanted to move back to the area again, I gave them that piece, which was 8/500ths of an acre, and helped them build a house on it. And now they want to sell that, and we have given them 2 acres, which was Paula's mother's, and so they're going to build a new house up there.
How many kids did you folks have?
We had 2 girls.
You know, you brought a couple other photos, and I want to get to them. We're almost out of time, but your dad was a lawyer. He obviously knew Sheriff Biscaloo. What's going on in these photos?
Well, this particular photo, I think, was at the dedication of the Clarita Canyon Nature Park, and he was instrumental in getting it bought by the county and the state. I think it was somehow co-shared by them.
Okay, so he had a role in it as,
and he had
as
a
an
role
attorney.
in it. Yes, well, it was his interest, his passion. He was active in the Boy Scouts, which he dearly loved, and the Rotary Club and the Kiwanis Club. He's the first person I ever knew to belong to 2 of those things. But anyway, that's what that was, I think, at the dedication, because you see Jose pulling up his onions under the oak of the Golden Dream or whatever.
Sure, and there's your dad on the right,
and Sheriff
Biscaloo right there. Of course, they would have known each other pretty well.
Yes.
I'm afraid that's it.
Oh,
And
thank you.
yeah, I told you it would go by quickly.
I'm very glad.
So thank you guys for joining us, and for everybody else for all your answers to your SCV history questions. Visit scvhistory.com on the internet, or stop by the Saugus train station in downtown Newhall, Saturdays or Sundays 1 to 4. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Legacy, Santa Clarita's Living History. I'm Leon Warden. Good night.
This program is available on DVD from the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society. Pick one up when you visit the Saugus Train Station Museum in Old Town Newhall, weekends 1 to 4.